Hello everyone, welcome to a Disney Infinity, I don't know what the hell this is. Is this a tutorial? Is this a level? Well, it's a Disney Infinity community level. And Lion HT has got the community together, so big round to him. Go and check his clip out and all the other great content creators that have done loads of levels in Disney Infinity. And my one is called The Road to Nowhere. And we're going to be Jack, or the Ghost Rider in this case, driving around on his bike on the road to nowhere. Now, it's a bit ironic because obviously he's going to have to end up somewhere, so I'm already lying about the level, but there you go. But I do love this cool thing, and the sound of this bike is just brilliant. Look, how cool is this? How can you cancel this game? Well, anyway, the story of this level is that Jack is riding along on the road to nowhere where he comes across a strange and mysterious town. Now, just so you're aware, this level is I'm going to class as a prototype level. And the reason why I'm calling it a prototype level is that there are things that I would do differently, and this is what I would class my first draft. So I've obviously worked out a few ideas of what I'm going to do with this particular level, but I've noticed some things I'd like to change. So normally I would build 4 or 5 versions of it, tune it out, and then build the final version. We are going to build the final version at some stage, but this is the full run through of how the level works. And as you can see, I've got some little booby traps in the street, so not all seems to be quite strange in this weird and wonderful town. And as obviously Jack likes his pumpkins, he can't help pinching a few pumpkins. He's got to go and grab a few of these pumpkins on the level. Now, as soon as he grabs the pumpkins, something mysterious is going to happen. Okay, he's got to be careful not to step on those trap doors. Now, I've got a couple of little links here, so there's a little glitches there so you can get killed, which is a little bit annoying, but we'll just pretend they didn't happen. But it's a prototype model, yeah? You'll see here I've tried to hide the mats, yeah? But you'll see here we've now collected all the pumpkins and the ground has disappeared, and we're now surrounded by lava. We are trapped inside this town. Oh no. Sirens are going off. What the hell is going on here? And now objects coming through that are going to push us into the level. So we have to move around and dodge these, otherwise we are going to die in the fiery death. So some of these are quite straightforward. Look at, we can just jump past. Or somewhere we can't do it, so we're going to have to jump over it. Come on, Jack. Yep. And then I got a couple of zigzag little levels. Woof. Oh, that was easy. Piece of cake. Oh, well. Now, the object of this level now is that we've done level 1. So when we do level 1 and that last wall goes into the wall of fire, it triggers off the collectibles, and we have to go and collect our pumpkins, which is not too bad. Now, and when you collect all the pumpkins without trying to die, the object here is then you've got to go and the next level will increase and more things happen as the level goes on. So it's going to get more and more dangerous as we play this game. Now, the idea of the game here was to make sure that the individual has to keep moving. So you'll see now that the sirens have gone, and we're now having to move things down. So you see the floorboards down, leaving the lava, which is where that little section glitched a bit, where I actually died. So then we've got the floorboards coming through on the screen. Now, ideally, what my original plan was that you wouldn't have the same sequence of blocks come through. Yeah, I wanted it to be random and different, so you wouldn't get the same sets. But again, it's a prototype to check it to see if it would work. And there we got through the lava. We made that level. That was easy. Okay, and then the next level appears. Now, the way I thought this game would work would be, it would either be a 2-player game, yeah, or individual player game. So you've got to go through the levels as quickly as possible. Now, I was going to do it that you can't die. As soon as you die, the game's over. But as you'll notice, I die an awful lot in this test model I built the game. So maybe every time you die, it scores a point. I haven't came up with the actual physical game option. I've got all the level outline done, but how do you score it or how do you record the level? I'm still trying to work that out. But I think what we'll do is every time you die, you lose a life. Every pumpkin you collect, you get a bonus points or something like that, or you get points against you. So every time you die, you give the other person 5 points. And every time you get a pumpkin, you get 5 points. So you're all racing to get those. So now we have the spinning, moving spikes. Now, one thing I noticed with these, if you have those floor spikes that come up from the ground and they damage... Oops, I forgot about one of those. Look at that. Oops. Got to watch out. I'm going to get killed. Ah! get squashed, right? If you get one of those ground spikes that come up in one of those spinning spikes, it will destroy the spinning spike and the spinning spikes will disappear. So you can't have those with the spare spikes. So you'll see the location is probably not in the best position because I needed it more spaced about. So now we have to collect the pumpkins, but the pumpkins are a lot more harder to collect because we've got the more levels in the system. That's the logic for it anyway. So, and like I say, it's a fully working level. It all works, but it's just to try it again. I was just trying out different things. I think I might lower the lava a little bit as well, not have it right close to the edge. It just the red brick looks a bit pants, if you ask me. So it's got to look a bit like it's dropped down. I've made it Halloween with Jack, but I might not even make it Halloween with. I may just make it like a Jedi training room, something like that. So I've done this for Halloween, but I might redo this level just as a training centre to test the Jedi skills. So you can shoot them. Again, you died. But again, obviously I want to get Ahsoka in here and challenge her to a game, but I want to make sure the game is a single player or a double player. And loads of the stuff we're doing is try to do like little challenges. And now we've got the spinning saws that come through. One thing I did with the spinning saws, by the way, I had to stop and start them so they were out of sync as well. I just got killed. Now, there is another little glitch as well I found, that if on the big balls or the gaps, you'll notice these little balls here, you can slip through them. So you'll see here, I get through, and I just seem to got through that very quickly. So I found that if it was just a slim wall, the glitch in the system wouldn't allow you to do it. So it's good if it's a solid brick. So if I did that again, I would probably do a solid brick. But I've got another idea which I'll explain later how I go. But every level you do, it gets more and more chaos now. So if this was 2 people and you've got to frantically get those points, it makes it a bit more interesting. And every time you kill somebody, by the way, you get 5 points for kill to the other member of the team. So I think the logic here works. Yeah, I think the idea works. But like I was saying, most of my game designs come from building a level, then finding what I hate about it, and then try and tune it or find the bugs. Yeah, so this has got a few little bugs on here. I do like those spinning objects. I'd like more of those to really be awkward, so it makes it a lot more tricky. But again, finding the time these days is mental. I mean, how the hell are we in October already? So I'm going to tune this one up over the next few weeks, but at least I'm not rushing to get this out on the particular deadline the whole community's gone. And now we've got sidewalls coming out, by the way, which is quite cool. I quite like that. And that's random, by the way. It can be random different sections. And I will show you the logic towards the end of this, how I've done this. But it gives you an idea how it all goes. And you see there, I just walked through the walls. There's a little glitch though. Those thin walls are no good. So they're no good. They've got to be a little block in there. So I'm going to work on those. But I think instead of having that, I might just have it, you have to jump over lava, flying lava. Which might work. Right, now there's 2 main challenges when coming up with this level. The first thing was, why would the person move throughout the map? Yeah, why wouldn't he just stay in the middle and just go side to side? Yeah, so I had to make sure that the person had to move. So the spinning things get in the way, make sure you have to do it. Also, you have to collect the pumpkins. That was another reason to move around, and then you've got to dodge it. So I was trying to make sure the user definitely has to move around to grab the pumpkins, even if they don't when the level comes. So that was the other part. The second big thing was the size of the map. Now, it didn't want to be too big, yeah? And by the way, these walls go from either side, by the way, quite cool. The map didn't want to be too big. It had to be the right size so I can move around. So I've got it about like 5 by like, I think 15 squares. Yeah, so it's about maybe 5 by 20, but it's not enough to move myself up and down on the length. Yeah, so just be wary of that when you're putting these things into place. But it was again testing that size of the map that's moving around. The objects are in the place, and I don't just stand there and just don't have to do anything. Because I think when I first put this together, the pumpkins didn't move; they were static. It was a bit all too easy. Now I've got them spinning around. And they come across random. I still can't catch these flipping things, and things like these spikes get in the way. So I quite liked that, and it made us move around and get your timing right. Now, obviously, I'm going to do a 1-player game and a 2-player game. Now, when you play a 2-player game and you try and broadcast a 2-player game, it's with the split screen, it's very confusing, and you find it's just too chaotic. So I make sure there is going to be a 1-player and a 2-player mode. And the one player mode will probably do like the pumpkins on a time level, so you've only got certain time to grab the pumpkin, so they're the points you get, and every time you die you lose 5 points, something like that. A pumpkin might be worth 10 points, and every time you die you lose 5 points, something like that. So again, challenges the player, so they can play through the whole set. So you get another maps going back the other way now. Now I've done it after this. You've only get 3 stages of other maps going farther side, but you can do it as many times as you want. And you'll see here, look, I can't run through those blocks, but you watch this. I'm just going to run through it. Go on. Oh, typical. It now doesn't let me. Oh, it will let me run through it then. So it does, or it doesn't let me through the wall, which is always interesting. And then once we get it, we've done. I think that's now 3 versions that we've done. So when the pumpkins appear for the very last time, then the level is complete, and then I reset it all, and we have completed. And I think I think I've set it up so that when I do this last level and collect these pumpkins, there'll be fireworks display. But I think this could be quite a good, funny game. And if you're doing a 2-player, I think the language could be quite strong. Me and Ahsoka could have some very strong words, because if you pick up the other person and throw them in the lava, you're going to get 5 points. I think that might make it more manic. But also, if you're carrying somebody, and say, there you go, ta-da! Now the only issue with this is that the levels should have all come up, the floorboards should have all come back, and it should have all returned back to normal. So I had designed it so you could just restart the level again. Well, that is my prototype level. What I'm going to do now is just show you the behind the scenes, how I put it together, just see what you think of that. Also, I do hope you're very impressed with my Halloween style transitions. Seems to be quite good and very moving. But anyway, let's get into Spark mode, and let's see how this is all put together. You'll see there's quite a lot of paths on here, as they hear on the screens. But the key thing that controls all this, and this is the thing that I couldn't get my head around, is the collectibles is what actually triggers each stage of the game. And you'll see they're all connected on their own little paths. Yeah, and those collectibles come all the way here to the logic, and this is the logic. And I've again organised my logic, was important, which has got each row. Each row there you see is one stage at a time. Now, when you do a collectible, what it basically does is, when you do a collectible, it collects it through and it will send a signal down, and it will then go and do the various paths as it goes through the list. This collectible is here. It says, right, when they're all collected, it will send a signal to that logic gate. That logic gate goes, right, on output, go do this level. Now, when it gets sent down there, it closes that gate behind it, right? So now all the floorboards raise up. Yeah, that will raise up. The other floors, all the ground floors move down. Right, and they all start moving on the screen. So we have the rest of the paths here ready to go. Now, when that's finished, right, that will also send a signal through. So that logic gate's collected, that signal's gone through, and then I go, right, by the way, once they're all done, can you trigger off the moving objects, the wall, the back wall at the end? Now, the back wall at the end is the important part. So if you'll see, we go to the very end, we have our various walls. Yeah, and you'll see here different objects we can use, but they're all the walls they pass through. But the only one I'm interested in is the very last one. And you'll notice that's why they're on separate paths. And that last path will come along, and when it gets through here and gets to the very last one, it hits this last point, and when it reaches that point, it will trigger the collectibles and makes them activated again. So then when you collect them all, it says when collected it goes through, and then this gate's now been closed, so it then moves on to the next level and says, right, go and run the next set, which will then go and do the saws, and then it will close that previous gate, and it will then make these spinning blades come up, or it make the seesaws come through, or it makes the sidewalls go in. So they all go through stage by stage on that setup as they move through the list. And the more levels I have, the more setup I've got. But as you can see, the level isn't actually that big. Yeah, it's quite a small little level, but there's a lot more I could have done with that. One of the things I was thinking of doing was these spinning tiles. Thought it'd be quite good that I could have those incorporated as well, so because you can switch those on and off, so they could be quite good. So there was again different type of scenarios I was thinking of doing, and then having different shapes. So it would randomly pick 3 or 4. So I might have actually 6 channels, and it would randomly pick which one of those to send through, so it would be different each time. And another thing I was thinking of as well, these could also be on a path tool, so I could have them go across. So if you hit those, you die. You have to jump over them. So there's a lot of different things we were thinking of putting in there, and we can expand it up. So I'm going to tidy this up and make a more completed version. But I obviously wanted to get one for the community. This is my level. Yeah, my Jack level, my Halloween special. So once again, well done for Lion HT to sort this all out. I appreciate all the effort and time. Jack's now going to get back on the bike and head out on the road to nowhere. So everyone, I hope, or maybe not, I don't know why he just blows up like that. Occasionally does that. I'll get him out of here. Okay, everyone, have a good Halloween. I will get another clip to you soon. Can't say when, but please check out all the other community levels. Have a great Halloween, and definitely speak to you soon. Take care, look after yourself. Bye. Oh yeah, and don't forget to like it.